Hello again to all listeners and subscribers of this channel. You are listening to Obsidian Radio. And today I'm going to talk about a lawnmower that I've used that I really like and why more people should use lawnmowers like these. So basically it's going to be product placement. So just want to give you a heads up right there, but let me break it down. So I bought this lawnmower about a year ago. Yeah, I want to say almost a year ago. And I've used it more than a dozen times. And personally, I really like it. So this video is basically going to be a review of that lawnmower and the company that manufactures it. And this particular lawnmower, this video will, like I said, be a review. I'm going to break down why I like it, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, give it an overall score. And the lawnmower I'm talking about is a push lawnmower or a reel lawnmower. And the name is basically the Mow Joe 20-inch manual push walk behind reel mower with catcher produced by Joe. That's the one I'm talking about. And I'm going to be breaking down the pros, cons of the Joe, how the lawnmower works, how it operates, what you should do, some tips, and why I think it's superior to regular gas-powered lawnmowers and even to a certain extent electric type lawnmowers. So without any more introduction, let's get into it. So obviously you all don't know me personally, so I want to give you a heads up. But if you get to know me, I'm the type that doesn't really like mowing the lawn. So if I get anything that allows me to mow the lawn more efficiently and more quietly and without as much irritation or frustration, anything that allows me to cut the grass more peacefully, that's what I'm going to be in favor of. So let's get on with it. Now, as far as regular gas mowers and to a certain extent electric mowers. One, here are the specs on more traditional lawnmowers, whether they be gas or electric. 1A, price. Price range for gas and some electric lawnmowers tends to be about between $150 to about $500 on average. Larger mowers tend to cost a bit more, and there are some lawnmowers that can exceed the cost of even $1,000. Some might even cost up to $5,000, depending on how much you're using it and what you're cutting, etc. They weigh between about 50 to 200 pounds. Their fuel tank can hold anywhere from, if I read this right, can hold up to about 16 ounces to about 1 gallon for most walk-behind push mowers. And most seem to be about 18 to 22 inches wide on the front. So where the blade is, basically. 1B, the pros of regular or more traditional lawnmowers. Regular gas-powered mowers and electric mowers are usually faster. They can cut the grass at multiple different angles. They can cut the grass on even surfaces as well as uneven surfaces to a degree. And they can cut the grass on a very large surface area. Plus, the grass catchers that are attached to these type of mowers, usually when you have a grass catcher attached to a gas or electric mower, they collect a lot more grass. And because of the way they're shaped, the way they're built, and the way the mower works, a lot of the grass is compressed down. So this makes it a lot easier to bag the grass and then throw the grass away if you throw it away. 1C, the cons of mostly gas and some electric mowers. Now, as far as the negatives of gas and electric powered lawnmowers, they're all extremely loud and annoying, much louder in general than even some other noises like plane flights and train crossings. And the noise they make is very, very aggravating, very grating to the ears. I never like it. I've always hated it. They're both much heavier, weighing anywhere from, like I said, 50 to 200 pounds. They tend to break down a little more easily because of more moving parts and the amount of power that they generate. And like I mentioned earlier, they cost a lot more upfront, but they also cost a lot more throughout their lifetime because of the gasoline needed, the electricity needed, and sometimes you need to fix them. Sometimes you need to make some corrections if the wheel falls off or something snaps. Basically, regular maintenance is going to cost you hundreds or even thousands of dollars every year just to maintain them and use them on a regular basis throughout their lifespan. Also, The gas power mowers, they produce fumes that can be aggravating to the user. And those who worry about CO2 emissions, you're going to have to worry about that also. They have CO2 emissions coming out of the gas mowers. So they're obviously not going to be fond of these type of gas mowers. If you're someone who has asthma type problems, or if you're an environmentalist who cares about having too much CO2 in the atmosphere, you're not going to like gas mowers. Also, because they're much bigger, heavier, and harder to maneuver, they can be exhausting to use even with their greater speed and greater power. Plus, like I said, they're running the higher prices, between $150 to $500. And unfortunately, some of the rechargeable lithium type lawnmowers cost even more. They cost about $100 or more, even though they're about the same size and have the same work capacity. So I might do a video on electric mowers separately later on too, just to talk about that. But yeah, the lithium rechargeable mowers are to a certain degree even more cumbersome than the gas or regular electric ones. So there you go. Number 2. Now, onto the Mow Joe Push Reel Mower. Let's break down some specifics. 2A. Their price tends to be between about $90 to about $100. Or if you're looking for real push power lawnmowers in general, they can go anywhere from $60 to about $150. This particular one has a grass catcher attached to it, so that's good. It has a cutting width of about 20 inches. It has an adjustable height of about 1.35 inches to 2.52 inches. It weighs a really good 30 pounds, about the same size or same weight as my bike. It has a work capacity of about 1/4 to 1/2 an acre. It has an assembled height of 49.2 inches, a total assembled width of about 26.8 inches, and it comes in the colors of black and green. 2B. Why did I want this type of mower over a gas or electric mower? The main reason I wanted the push reel type lawnmower over a traditional mower was 2 main reasons. First was the fact that some of the cheapest gas mowers and electric mowers still were about $40 more expensive than some of the most expensive real push mowers. I'm going to provide a link in the description and you'll see comparisons of prices. And also, I don't like the idea of having to buy gasoline just to cut my grass. I hate the use of gasoline. I really wish we moved to a world where we didn't have to depend on gasoline so much, but that's a whole other video for a whole other time. But yeah, it's a waste of resources. And like I was saying, the gas companies are too powerful. We're too dependent on them. I don't want to be one of those people who has to pour some of my income into these gigantic, monopolistic, war-generating, environmentally destructive oil companies. No, I'm not going to do that. So there you go. Also, in comparison to the electric and or electric rechargeable mowers, push reel mowers are still lighter, quieter, and cheaper, and a benefit to the environment just like the other ones. So you compare an electric mower to the push reel mower, even the electric mower has some cons to it that the push reel mower does not have. Number 3, the pros of the push mower or the push reel mower, the Mow Joe that I actually use right now. It is much less expensive, it's easy to use, and it's perfect for someone who is more of an environmentalist who may live in a big city. 3A, the upfront cost is less expensive. The vast majority of the push reel mowers on the market, like I said, seem to be between $60 to about $120, maybe as far as $150. With some, about $150 to $60, somewhere around that range. And even at this higher price of about $150, they're still about the same or slightly cheaper than some of the cheapest gas mowers in the upfront of purchasing them. 3B, easier to use. Gas and electric mowers, because of their components, the engine weight, the electric motor, and the fuel tank, they will always be heavier and they will always be hard to maneuver around your lawn. Whereas reel mowers are lighter and easier to carry as well as move around while using them. 3C, the long-term costs are much less expensive. They don't need recharging. They don't need to be plugged in. They don't need refueling. They don't have as many moving parts. And they don't seem to break down as easily, as far as I'm concerned. When it comes to maintenance, they're just so much easier to take care of. They might need some oil on the wheels and some of the blade axle parts every so often. And they need to be cleaned every so often. And that's about it. You oil it, you keep it from getting rusty, you clean it, and that's it. 3D. It's obviously less polluting. It's less polluting in terms of noise and CO2 emissions. As in, the clicking sound that you're going to get from the reel mower is nowhere near as loud, nowhere near as grating, and nowhere near as irritating as the noise of a motor of an electric lawnmower or the engine of a gas mower. 3E. You can get some decent, you can get some decent exercise from using the mower without feeling overwhelmed by its weight or its mass. You're not going to feel that it's overly cumbersome like gas or electric mowers, yet you can kind of get a decent workout out of it. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. It'll keep you in good shape but not be too hard on you when you use it. And also, because these push reel mowers are lighter, they're easier to maneuver with and cut the grass on a yard. Plus, they can give a bit of, like I was saying, they give a bit of workout. They can cut the grass. It's, again, like the best of both worlds. It's not overwhelming you. It's not stressing you out. It's not exhausting you. But it's getting the job done like you want it to. Now, number 4, the cons of a push reel mower. It's not as powerful. Obviously, it can't cut the grass on bumpy or uneven surface or on uneven surfaces. It's not as fast. It's going to take a lot longer to cut your grass or your yard. 4A, because of its smaller size and being a push mower or being a push powered mower, you can't cut the grass as quickly. And unfortunately, reel mowers are almost always going to be slower in terms of total grass cutting time when it comes to how long it's going to take you to do the job across your entire lawn. 4B, you can scrape the blades if you hit something that's uneven or hit something that's sticking out of the grass or it's on an uneven surface. So because the reel is in a kind of a circular drum configuration and it's a horizontal drum that's going across the length of the mower, it can't go over the uneven surfaces. It can't really go over any major big or high up objects that are sticking up out of the ground. But there's a caveat. Unlike the regular mowers, it can actually be picked up and brought over the grass so that way you don't let it hit anything. So that kind of balances that out a little bit. I'll break that down a little bit later. But yeah, regular mowers have the blade that goes over the grass, I guess not vertically, but it goes over the grass facing down at it. Whereas the reel mower, they have that circular drum with the blades going forward. Again, those blades, they can't go over surfaces the way the blade on a regular mower can, unfortunately. But again, there's things that balance this out. 4C, reel mowers can only cut on lawns that are smaller overall. Because reel mowers are so much smaller, they can't cut large lawns very quickly. So if you want to cut your grass in, say, under an hour with a push reel mower, you're limited to an area of about half an acre of land or so. So if you have a major, very big lawn, you don't really want to use a push reel mower at all. Unless you want to be out there cutting grass for 3 hours, this mower's not going to do that. Luckily, my front lawn is not that big. 4D. One thing I noticed, and it's just because of the way it's designed, and it's not really a design flaw, but it's just how it is. I can't cut the grass backwards. As in, if I pull the mower backwards, it won't cut the grass. It'll cut the grass only if I push it forwards. So I have to turn around and go over a place multiple times or go multiple passes over in order to cut the grass. But again, like I was mentioning earlier, because it's lighter, you can pick it up. And if you don't want to pick it up, it's more easily to maneuver because it's so much lighter and smaller. So again, it's a canceling out mechanism where, it's not as powerful, but it's a lot easier to carry and move around anyway. 4E. But here's the caveat. I would strongly recommend that if you live in a big city, this is the type of mower that you want to use if you live in a more condensed, more congested area. But let's go on. Number 5. some things that I learned while using it. And actually, I'm going to pause here. I'm going to actually show you what I'm talking about in a video. You'll see what I'm talking about. So pause it right here, and I'm going to go directly to showing you on camera what the reel mower can do and how it can operate, and certain things that I learned when I was using it firsthand. So as you can see, I'm going on to, what was it, number 5, the 7 things I learned by actually using the Mow Joe reel push lawnmower. So as you can see the Mow Joe sitting right there in front of you right there. So let me get to the first one. Now, unlike regular lawnmowers, I noticed when you try to pull or push them, you have to pull or push the whole entire thing. You can't lift it up because A, they're really heavy, and B, the handles are not adjustable. You can't really swing the handle back and forth with the regular lawnmower. But with this lawnmower, you can do that. So I'll show you. As you can see, I can pull the handle back and forth a little bit. And if I pull the handle up far enough, I can actually lift it up like this. I can swing it around and carry it one-handed. Even if there's grass in there, I can carry it one-handed just fine. So it makes it a lot more maneuverable, a lot more easily to move around because it's lighter weight, again about 30 pounds. And that handle that goes up and down allows me to pull it up and take it where I want to without having to worry about scratching it. And that brings me to my next point, or one of my later points. Number 2, because of the way this is orientated, it can't really cut uneven surfaces, so I don't know if you can see it well enough, but if you look around here in this area, the grass is very uneven, so this is not going to be able to cut through this and turn it that way. So what I'll do is, if you meet an area that's like really uneven like this, you do like I did before, just pick it up and carry it where you want to, and you'll be just fine. You can put it back just like you did before and get back to cutting. Yeah. And number 3, unlike most of the push lawnmowers, the Mow Joe, as you can see, does have a grass catcher. Hopefully you can see that. Yep, you can see the grass catcher right there. I'm gonna angle you down a little bit. So you can actually catch the grass and bag it and put it in the garbage like you want to. So that's number 3. Now, there's another thing I need to show you. I'm going to show you up close. When you look down at the actual Mow Joe, there's one problem I have with when I'm using it. This is a green part right here. This is kind of green tray thing. A lot of the grass gets caught here. So what I usually do is I usually either take my hand, or if I really want to be more efficient with it, I might take something like a broom. And I'll just sweep the grass from here and just sweep it inside here. That way you collect as much grass as possible. So that helps a lot. And yeah, you will bring I bring a broom with me. You could too if you want, but that's what I usually do to make it easier. Let me see, where am I at? Number 5. Yeah, like I said, it can go over uneven surfaces. If you try to go over a surface that's like sloped, I don't know if you can see that, but the surface is not even. It's much further down there, and up here is much higher up. So if you have a surface kind of like this, just like I showed before, I'll show it again a second or third time. You could literally just pick this up and carry it, even with the grass inside the grass catcher, carry it with one hand, and there you go. Again, the handle is very adjustable. It can swing back and forth. This thing weighs only about 30 pounds, and you can carry it wherever you want to. You don't have to always push it. A lot easier than a regular lawnmower that weighs like 100 pounds or whatever. Much easier. Now, number 6. As far as I'm concerned, if you live in a big city or a really heavily populated urban environment, and you're one of the more environmentalist types, this lawnmower doesn't make a lot more sense because it costs less, it's smaller, no emissions, you don't have to use electricity, and most people in big cities have smaller lawns anyway. So even though this might take longer, this type of lawnmower makes sense for a smaller lawn in the first place. So it just makes more sense if you're a city dweller, which most people are right now, when you think about it. Let me see. I'm gonna break that down again later on in the video. Basically, it's gonna be this and then a reiteration to make sure I get all my points across. So yeah. And number 7. This is a big one. Now, there are a couple of cons about these type of lawnmowers. It's 30 pounds. It's very lightweight, very easy to handle, very easy to maneuver. But because of that, it can't cut the grass as quickly. It can't cut the grass as fast. So if you try to use it like a regular lawnmower, you're going to be making a lot of trips back and forth between cutting the grass and putting the grass in the garbage can if you want to put the grass away. So here's what I would do. If you're going to buy a lawnmower like this and use it, and I do enjoy using this, I think it's really good, but here's something that helps me use it a lot more easily. When I'm out here cutting the grass, take the lawnmower, take a broom, like I was showing you before, I can just sweep the grass in the grass catcher. Even better, you can get something like a dustpan. You can use that to scoop the grass, and when you're scooping the grass, you can take the grass with the dustpan and put it directly into a trash bag. Oh, there it is. It's all the way down there. Hold on. You can put it directly into a trash bag like this. So once you do that, you have the trash bag, you have the dustpan, you have the broom, and a major thing, bring your trash can, your main big trash can, and bring it along with you. If you do that, you make it a lot easier for you. So where is my, oh. So like I was saying, when you take this lawnmower out, bring a trash bag, bring a dustpan, bring a broom, and bring your big trash can along with you. Keep your trash can a couple feet away from you, so when you're bagging the grass, you put it directly into the trash can, and it's a lot easier that way. So those are the 7 things I learned just using the lawnmower over and over again that makes it easier, to understand how to use it. It gives you a lot less stress and a lot less hassle. So there you go. So as you can see, there are a lot of things going on with the reel mower that when you use it firsthand, you learn how to maneuver it a little bit better. And you saw what I was trying to show you, so let me reiterate. Number 5, some things that I learned while using it. Like you saw. 5A, one thing that I like about the Mow Joe reel mower is that the main handle is adjustable. So because you can move it backwards and forwards, you can literally pick it up and move it across over the ground without it touching the ground. You can even lift it up with one hand. So again, huge plus that it's so lightweight and so easy to maneuver and so easy to move around. Huge plus. 5B, unfortunately, because it's push powered, it's not strong enough to cut through debris. So you might have to sweep the yard up or rake the yard, pick some things up before you start cutting. Me, I generally don't do that, but if you're worried about cutting the blades or whatever, you might have to do that. 5C, unlike many other push reel mowers, the Mow Joe has a grass catcher. And I do consider that a big plus. I'm not a fan of leaving the grass in the yard like that. I prefer putting it in bags and throwing it away. And the Mow Joe grass catcher allows you to do that. 5D, another thing to work around is the little catcher tray in between, and it's a little green part that I showed you. It's in between of the front blades and the grass catcher itself. Sometimes the grass gets caught, and like I said, just take a broom or your hand and just try to sweep it in. It's a little more work, but it's well worth it if you want to get the grass cut really easily. 5E, as stated before, uneven surfaces is going to cut into the blades, so be careful with that. Best way to solve this is, again, use the size to the advantage. Just literally pick it up and just carry it in your hand. Even one-handed, you can do that. Even if there's grass in there, you can carry it with one hand. Very, very easy to use. Very, very much better than regular lawnmowers. Simple as that. 5F. Pro tip. People who live in bigger cities usually live in smaller homes, smaller yards, smaller everything. You pay high property taxes, etc., etc. So you want to get away from the pollution. You want to have a slightly, just cheaper way of doing this. If you're one of the types like me that doesn't really like cutting the lawns anyway, this is the type of mower you want. You don't want to waste your money on the big, louder ones in the big city. Again, all the problems with the smog, the noise, the irritation, the cumbersomeness of trying to move a regular lawnmower. You don't deal with that with this. This is perfect for urban dwellings, especially if you're environmental type. 5G. If you bought this mower, because it's smaller, you're going to make more trips around. So, like I was showing you, take the garbage can, a dustpan, some garbage bags, and a broom with you. Use them just like I showed you, and that'll make the whole process a lot easier. And you want to travel back and forth to the garbage can over and over. So, yeah, keep the garbage can with you, and everything will be all right. 5H. If this mower lasts me another, say, 5 years, I'm convinced it would save me a lot of money and a lot of headache compared to using a regular lawnmower, making it an excellent purchase. And I'll wait and see. I'll give it the next 5 years. I'll see if it still holds up, and hopefully it will. So far, I like it. Number 6, my different ratings. So, as far as the price, I think this one cost like what, $102, $105. I can't quite remember, but it was a really reasonable price. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 for a very good price for something that I've used for the past year. And as far as I'm concerned, I've had no problems with it. The weight, I love the fact that you could pick this up with one hand and actually carry it with no problem. So 10 out of 10 for the weight when you compare it to regular lawnmowers that you can't pick up because of the handle that can't move, the huge surface area, and the greater weight. This one only weighing 30 pounds with an adjustable handle or a swivel handlebar, 10 out of 10. Handling, 8 out of 10 for handling. I prefer this over regular lawnmowers because it's small and it's lightweight. Just be careful to not hit any uneven surfaces. Maintenance, 9.5 out of 10. Like I said, you need to oil it and clean it every so often. Oil the wheels, oil the drum part with the blades, clean it every so often, and you're done. And it's also easily assembled and easily disassembled. I think I remember the assembly took like 5 minutes. Very easy to put together. Performance, 9 out of 10. As long as it's used on flat surfaces, on lawns that are probably less than an acre in size, works beautifully. Overall score, and I add all the scores together and average it, it's a 9.1 out of 10 from my personal review. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm very happy with this product. Final summary. I know I may have a bit of a bias towards non-gas mowers, but I'm still glad that I bought this type of lawnmower. I totally acknowledge that because of its size, it's limited in how much grass it can actually cut in a certain amount of time. It's limited in how fast it can cut the grass. So this is good only for small to medium-sized lawns, but no bigger. Because of the way the blades are designed, it's limited to only smooth surfaces and can only cut in one direction. And it still takes longer to cut grass than traditional lawnmowers. So these are pretty big cons for it. And even with all that being said, I still prefer this over a regular lawnmower. I still prefer this lawnmower strongly over the noise, the fumes, the costs, the weight, the maintenance costs, and the annoyance of regular gas-powered lawnmowers, and to a certain extent electric lawnmowers. Every con about the gas mowers and even the electric mowers is far more frustrating than the cons of a push reel mower, like the Sun Joe. So as far as I'm concerned, Sun Joe, Mow Joe, whatever the company's name is, very good product, very satisfied with it. Hopefully you guys keep making more of these. I like it. Whatever problem I had with this mower was either very minor, or I was able to develop a workaround that still made the mower more usable and very, very well worth the price. And it's still very much a valuable thing that I use to cut the lawn on a regular basis. I like it. I think everybody else should like it also. Very few complaints. Or if there are complaints, very minor compared to a regular lawnmower. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're into the moderate exercise, you live in a densely populated area, you want to save a lot of money, you have a smaller lawn, and you decide not to be a consumer of big oil products, you're kind of like the environmental type, I definitely strongly recommend this particular push reel lawnmower. this lawnmower, the Sun Joe. I stand by my 9.1 out of 10 rating, and I'll probably buy this type of lawnmower again if I had to. Good work, Sun Joe. I love your lawnmower. It's an awesome product. You guys are awesome. And that's my review for the Sun Joe Push Reel Lawnmower. And with that, that's all for now. Please like, subscribe, share, and donate to support this channel. I'm going to have some links in the description to Sun Joe and all the other information that I put in this video. You guys have a nice day. I'm out. Peace.